Welcome to the weekend podcast. And before we start, there's a technical error. My fault entirely. I do apologise, and I'm so annoyed at myself because it was a good podcast. We had an agenda. There's lots of to and froing, but the technical error resulted in Paddy, Pete, and Steve's mics not being recorded. So just me, and I've chopped out all the big gaps. It's up to you if you want to listen to it, of course. But if you do, I hope you enjoy. But I do apologise. It won't happen next week.
The Weekend Podcast on Vox Markets with Justin, Peter and Steve. Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Thank you for that. They're lovely in the background. Right, welcome to the committee meeting on Weekend Podcast. We've got an agenda this week suggested by Councilman Peter Hibbard. We will be talking about broker issues. Should you buy the dip? Trends, Pfizer Vaccine Day, massive rally coming, Croydon, TV recommendations, curry making skills, and Dominic Cummins. Right, are you ready to start, ladies and gentlemen? What? Yeah, I like committees. Right, ladies and gentlemen, the committee. Right, here we are then. There's a committee, this will be in TV recommendations, but there was a show, I don't know if anyone knows it. It was about a Welsh committee, and it was excellent. It was so backward. These ladies applied to have their room in this working men's club once a week, and the committee men held a meeting about it. They declined it because of the fact that they're women. and they literally were very serious about talking to this lady in the committee, and she left and they just burst out laughing. And I said, what? It was like a comedy, but a backward-looking comedy, but it was real, I think. Anyway, it was during the time of the coal and Arthur Scargill and all that. So let's crack on then. Guys, have a guess. Start off with a question. Have a guess, right? How much money, cash, I've got in my ISA, uninvested cash in my ISA. Have a guess. Anything you want. I'm free. Keep it free and open. The forum. Lower. Yes, you go, Pete. At the back there. Yeah, exactly. Because you're bound to win in the end, aren't you? Steve, go for it. Lower. Yes. I don't know the percentage, but it's £20.78. I'm fully invested. Do you know why? Do you know why I'm fully invested? I reckon we're right at the start of a massive opportunity, a massive Santa rally. No, a vaccine, fuel Santa rally. Because did you see that day this week? The Pfizer Vaccine Day. It was, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, it's Pfizer Vaccine Day. And the markets went nuts. Yeah, Steve just said, what is that? Yeah. So on Monday, Pfizer came out with, efficacy rates of 90%. All right, pretty much. They've how it works is a placebo and their vaccine, right? So they got 40,000 people in trials. They haven't broken it down yet, but they suspect 20,000 people were given the vaccine. And then why COVID is quite good. Having a virulent disease going around while you're trying to come up with a vaccine is very good because there's lots of people who'll be catching it. You test the vaccine on. Beforehand, MERS, SARS, for example, started dying out, the disease. They couldn't have enough people to test it on. So they're going for it. They need 164 people pretty much to catch the vaccine. That way they can tell if it's effective. They were going to start off with 32, just an interim sort of result of people. Now they've got 94 people have caught coronavirus. 90% of those were in the placebo group. The others, 8, had the vaccine, so it was effective for 90%, right? And so they'll keep going up and people catching, they'll get better figures. But that put a rocket up the sectors on the markets that have basically been hammered down. You talk about, travel stocks, banks, leisure, hospitality, the ones that, and conversely, it hammered the COVID testing stocks. Now, I'm going to say something controversial here, and I know people are obsessed with COVID testing stocks because they've made people a lot of money in this downturn. But there's people saying, well, testing will be here for a long time. There's government contracts going out. There's government is spending like $42 billion on testing over the next few years. That is 3 times the amount they spend on police force in England in 2018-19. Right? So that's how much they're spending. I'm going to say some of those contracts will be cancelled. Because if you've got an effective vaccine, why do you need testing? So I don't think... and people say, well, still testing will be around for 12 months. 12 months is not enough. Markets rally, look, 12 months down the line. You need further foresight than that. You need to follow the trend. So I'm saying first on the agenda here, buying the dip, right? Should you buy the dip? I'm going to do a little video on this saying one reason you should buy the dip. If it's in trend, the share price. For example, if you think the share price of the company you hold will be hammered by future good news on vaccines, don't buy the dip. If the company you hold had a boost this week because of the vaccine news, yes, buy the dip, because there's more vaccine news coming out. Pfizer's, for example, has to be stored at -80, so it's quite logistically hard, but it can be done because they can ship out in these dry ice containers, all that, and it costs a lot of money. And so we apparently got 40 million doses in the UK. The next one come along is Moderna, exactly the same tech, mRNA. It's a new kind of tech that they've discovered and they've pioneered. That'll be coming along very soon. Then you've got the big boy, AstraZeneca. We're going to have 100 million doses of that. That can be stored at room temperature. And if that's successful, now, data before the end of this year, the stock market will rally like crazy. Now's the time to take positions in these hammered down sectors, but do not buy the dip on these, I think, honestly, on these COVID stocks, because the trend is now down on them. If you want to be hammered again, every time a bit of news comes out, that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen, Yeah. So I'm just thinking that there was like, if you can get a nice analogy here, when the tide changes, when you look in the water, the tide is coming in and then goes out, then you get one big wave that signifies the tide has changed, and then it goes back to normal for a little bit, but the tide is changing and it's coming, and it's you get because of course if the tide's going out, you've got to have a bit of a force of energy to change the tide, and basically you get one big wave coming in, and then others subsequent waves are not as big, but then you get the odd big one now and again coming back in. So, but I think that first wave there, it's true. Yes, you get one. If you stand on a beach there, right? But it depends what time it is. If you're tied out, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, you often get. If you're building, I've been on the beach last holiday we had, which was, when was that? You're building a hole, trying to get the water to come in the hole. Sometimes you have to build the hole on the beach just far enough away from most of the waves not to mess up the hole. But every now and again, a big wave comes in and fills the hole up with water. So that change in tide, sometimes, that big initial first wave, is a signal, it's a sign. You are. It's good, Steve. Thanks for adding to the analogy. So, if you've been holding sort of a stock maybe in the leisure, travel, banking sector, all the stuff, maybe you are in the hole. Been in the hole for like last year, 6 months, since March, pretty much, when the stock market took a dive. But the wave is coming out. It's going to float us, and we're going to go up. And literally on Monday, if you look around the world, some stocks like TUI, EasyJet, they're about 40%. That is a signal, a flag saying, oh, it's here we go, tide has changed. And that'll happen again, you mark my words, when Moderna come out, probably with news end of this month, with their vaccine. And Dr. Fauci, don't know if you see Dr. Fauci, he was championed by Trump at the start, and then Trump started saying some stupid things, and Dr. Fauci disagreed with him. Trump didn't like it, he tried to put him down a bit, knock him down a few pegs. But he's seen as the authority on this, and he said that what's good is the good news from Pfizer is very good for the others, because they're all focusing on the same kind of protein, and so the success rate should be very good for all of them. And so he reckons it's not just a one-off Pfizer success; it'll be replicated by Moderna, AstraZeneca, and Oxford University, a bit different, but they are focusing on the protein that Moderna and Pfizer did. So it looks like it's going to be good. Did you see that? Pfizer's a dose of Pfizer. This is the problem. 2 doses of Pfizer actually cost £29.47, right? That's what it costs. We've bought 40 million doses, the UK government. The Oxford AstraZeneca dose cost £2.23. It is, isn't it? We've ordered 100 million of those. Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't work, it's not very good value for money. But yeah, so what I'm saying is, I think boys, strap in. I think this next few, yeah. Well, no, and there we are. Go on to Peter. I've got my 6 stocks. My 6 stocks. I didn't want to. I'm sorry, Steve. I cannot mention my stocks in this committee meeting because Councillor Peter Hibbard said we shouldn't keep mentioning the same stocks. And I said, well, this is what we had. I said, they're the stocks I hold. I'm not a trader. I'm not going to mention different stocks every week. I don't trade stocks. I'm a long-term investor. I never trade. Thank you very much, Councillor. Thank you very much, Councillor Peter Hibbard. Okay. The answer is, Steve, I have topped up here and there in little dips on all different stocks. So some in Symphony Environmental. I've got enough escape, and I've got about 2.8 million shares of there, so I've got enough of that. But that's my. But talking about largely, my portfolio is not affected by COVID, apart from escape, which is a leisure. But that's my leisure play. So Pad said that he's jumping into TUI and all that. So no, my leisure play is escape hunt. I think that'll be a lot higher, of course, in the next 12 months. So I put a bit in Gfinity. A bit in Gfinity. Where else is it? I put a bit in Salt Lake Potash as well, because that's come on. We're talking like just over 2.5 months before they start producing there, and it's not moving. It will move. It will move. Have a bit of patience. I saw someone on Twitter saying, "Oh, it'd be nice if the share price went up," because Tony Sirichik has been showing the process, the progress at the site. Phenomenal build going on there. Worth checking out his Twitter feed. The CEO of Salt Lake, it's nearly done. It's up pretty much, and so by February, late February, they'll be producing from that. They're not far off that. And I didn't buy any more Polarean because I got enough of that anyway. And OnTheMarket, I bought some OnTheMarket as well. A bit more of that. Yes. Sorry, that's all. Councillor Peterman. Sorry, Councillor Peterman. Yeah, one of the things. The thing is, you've got to identify strong long-term trends, right? Now we know if I'm talking about trends that are going to be around for 3, 5, 10 years, more than that. If you buy stocks in that are in front of this trend, generally over time you'll do better. It's like I should have realised. I knew that with Power's Energy, the hydrogen trend was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Of course, even now, actually, did you see the news today? They've announced that they're going to bring forward the date at which you can't buy petrol and diesel cars by 10 years. So it was going to be 2045, and now it's 2035. So the trend towards electric or alternative, forms of energy to power cars and stuff like that, that's going to get stronger. We know that's a trend. But I'm talking about generally, right now, the trend of the growing economy and the stock market was disrupted by coronavirus, and then some alternative trends took over, like COVID testing and all that stuff. Now we're going to revert to mean, back to normal, growth in those segments and sectors that we haven't seen in the last 6 months. And of course, the stock market, generally it works 6 months ahead, basically. So if we can see light at the end of the tunnel, if we can see, a path to recovery, the stock market will start to rally. And the more news from these vaccines stocks that come out, those sectors will just boom up on those days. They'll do very well. And so I think we're reverting to mean, basically, once COVID has disrupted this growth trend in the economies, and now reverting to mean. So I say, get on trend. Get in it. So if you buy the dip on stocks that are going down, of course, you're in trouble, because they'll rally a bit and then go down, drop even further. And in fact, I'm going to show on my video on the weekend, I'll show two charts. One of a trend going up, which is NASDAQ, and one of a trend going down, actually, and I picked Centrica. It's been going down for years and years. And so basically, sell the rallies in downtrends, buy the dips in uptrends. I think Councilman Pete has answered his own question there. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Basically, buy the dip in the uptrend. Don't buy it in the downtrend, because you keep buying and averaging down, and it keeps going down, you're going to lose a lot of money. But I've averaged down before. No, I think you can do a bit of both, yeah. But if you're buying, if you're averaging down, then generally it's because you think, it's about to go up and you're getting it cheaper. I don't ever think you should ever average down if you think it's going to go down a lot more. If it's in a downtrend, you should only, because obviously. Yeah, but if you look at sometimes, a stock's been massively oversold and it's very cheap and they've got cash, and you think, well, listen, 12 months later you've got a value generation point down the line, you think it's going to be, you could say, and that's another thing. If you've got a company like, for example, Salt Lake Potash, right? You know they're going to be, Potash, yeah, sorry. They're going to be making 60 million of EBITDA of cash per year, starting pretty much next year. And then so you value that on a multiple of 5 only. That's 300 million market cap they should be. Now, they are around about, 170 at the moment. They go down to 150. You're going to double your money on that one lake alone. So it becomes more of a bargain. They've got the cash. They're fully funded for the lakeway. So you realise, hang on, I'm getting this cheaper. And it's more upside from this level. So you can see that there's a good reason for buying, cheaper stocks, because they're going to get to a point where they generate enough cash to show they're cheap. Yes. No, I agree. If it's an uptrend, buy the dips. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we've had a massive dip now recently on these sectors, and now we'll revert to trend very soon. There'll be stimulus. There'll be lots of money piling into the markets, and especially with Biden's in. When Biden finally gets in there as well, I don't know what's happened. Trump sort of half admitted, I think, didn't he? We didn't even admit, really. But right, I'm going to remind me, when we get the TV recommendation section, I will be recommending a TV programme that explains Mr. Trump's refusal to concede. Also, by the way, talking about on Vaccine Day, right? Because I had Vanessa, of course, who's a friend of mine, a daughter goes to school with my son. They live on the road, but she wants to get into investing rather than put money in a bank, and so I've suggested funds. But she's had a Fidelity sort of account, and she couldn't buy some stocks, right? And I said, so she asked for recommendations of platforms. Now, you boys, I know Paddy's always complaining about Harry and Larry, but this week, a lot of platforms had problems on Pfizer Vaccine Day. There was so much volume going through. Now, in the old days, what would happen generally, when there was no online stuff, on a busy day, the broker just wouldn't pick up their phone. Because it was too busy, and also they get slashed on some of the prices, or they didn't know where they were, the market was too volatile. So I'm thinking it's the new version of that, where some of the brokers just unplugged an internet cable and said, no, we're not going to bother dealing. It's too volatile. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Larry, your lights have gone off. Yeah. Larry, turn that oil heater off. You've knocked the lights off. So, did you have problems with? I know people on AJ Bell, and Harry and Larry as Hargreaves Lansdowne had problems. When did that? But Paddy, you reckon you could never sell on Harry and Larry? That's Harry and Larry for you. Paddy's trying to sell again. Don't buy your stock. Right, because it's up. We don't want to buy your stock when it's up. If it comes down, we'll take your stock off him, right? Councilman Stephen, have you been having a similar problem, Stephen? Yeah, but the thing is, I've never had problems. I'm with Barclays, right? So Vanessa said their website is easy to use. They'll pay me to switch, transfer ISA. 0.45% management fee, no dealing fees. What's that about then? You get for new customers. I hate that when they offer that to new customers. What? You should reward the loyalty of the people staying with you, not the new ones getting on board. It's like, if you got a new... I don't know if you've ever called up places sometimes, and insurance companies. If you are an existing customer sometimes, they put you on hold. If you're a new customer, you go straight through. It's like, I hate that. What do you do? Because if you're bringing more cash to us, yes, we'll answer your phone. If you've got a whinging story, we don't want to... And you're a customer already, we don't want to hear about it, So, but she's going to switch... She said, thing is, I said, on high volume days, it seems to have issues, and she said, well, I'm not going to be bothered to... on high volume days, I don't know where they are. So she's going to, and also, I say, you boys, you are long-term investors. You shouldn't be buying and selling on high volume days. You should have taken your positions before it happened. Now, I've never had problems. Honestly, I've never had problems with Barclays. I mean, the only problem I ever have is, of course, selling, trying to get a quote on a chunk when there's no liquidity there, and you can't get a quote, and you have to wait and. It depends on how many you make. With me, if I'm £6, I think. You make, I think, if you obviously topping up, I'm not trading, of course. I'm just topping up on stuff. But I mean, mine's about £6 a deal, I think. Yeah. But I think if you make one, it depends what you're buying. I mean, Steve. No, but you got amazing memory. Councilman Pete. Amazing memory, Councilman Pete there. That's why he's in... Go on. That's why he's in charge of petty cash. Lovely. Right. Yeah, but I'm on Barclays, it's fine. And do you know what? I said, I don't understand Barclays. I try to look. They go back... I mean, I don't know when they made their website electronic, but I can go back 3 years on the website to see analyse my... You know what? No. He used to run on Steam previously. I hate that. He used to get overheated and slow down something as well very quickly. But no, I can go back 3 years, right, on the website. I don't understand this. But in the app, I can go back from the start. So if I go back 3 years, literally my performance is about 600% over 3 years. If I go back from the start on the app, it shows 4,500%, and I'm thinking that's back. Almost when I started sort of, they used to do online stuff. No, I've worked it out that it is accurate. So let's have a look. 2000. Oh, there are. So that's from 2000. I emailed them saying, when does it go back? And it's a Smart Investor. So they migrated to Barclays Smart Investor on the 26th of August 2017. That's why I can get three years worth on the thing. And then okay. How are you? Barclays goes back to 17th of the 11th 2009. So that's 4,499. There we are. And I've got it on spreadsheets, but I've been trying to put together how much I've done over that year. So, there we are. Why is it different? Why on the app can I go back? You'd think it'd be the other way around, wouldn't you? The app be less information and the website be more information. So, what I don't understand is, I'm looking on the market right now, right, the last trades, and someone bought 10 shares at 11 o'clock in the morning at £1.10. So they're getting charged pretty much. They'll be charged more, pretty much, or close to more, on the dealing than the actual shares. That's what 11 quid there, isn't it? So isn't that right? So why are people? I don't understand. Why are people buying 10 shares on the market on the 13th, Friday the 13th? That's like, yeah, you have done that, excellent. Yeah, Steve did that. Literally sell, no, I mean, he sell like £2.30's worth for some sandwiches for lunch. I'll sell some shares. Just get my lunch there. Yeah. Oh, they don't give me cash, do they? Yeah. Well, hang on. You make that argument about spreads on shares sometimes. I remember once we were talking about escaping. I said, get in now. I was telling you to buy those at 7 pence a share, pretty much. And you were saying, no, the spread's too big on that. I'll wait till it comes down a bit. It went up. I said, well, listen, the thing is, I said, the reason why the spread is so big on a share is because not many people are buying it. That's good. Now, and people don't understand this. The very hot stocks at the moment are the COVID stocks. On Vox, for example, they're getting some of those RNSs. They'll put out a holdings RNS, and it's getting about 1,500 views on it. You know, it's like ridiculous. And they're so hot. Now, when that many people are in a stock, there's not many people to buy it off you, you know? So it's good to get into a stock before not many people know about it. When the spread's maybe a bit wider, there's less liquidity because people are not everyone's in it. Everyone can't be right. As I say, the entire market can't be right because if they are the market. You're the one. If you outperform the market, you're doing what the general sort of population of people are not doing. You know, it's like that. I don't know who it was, but the famous the crash of 1929 in America led to depression, and I think it was Herbert Hoover or something like that went to get his shoes shined, and the shoe shine boy asked him, he's loving the stock market, he said, what's the next tip? And he went back to his office and he sold all his stock because he said when the shoe shine boy is in the market, there's no one else left to get in. So it's a contrarian thing. When everyone's bullish, it's time to be bearish. When everyone's bearish, it's time to be bullish because. Well, no, what I'm saying, you're arguing over petty cash. Come on, Councillor Peter, you will not open up your petty cash tin. We need some more pens and pencils for a councilman. Huh? I know, but over time, over time it's immaterial. It's like saying, I don't know, but no, someone just asked me on Twitter, actually, has Paddy actually bought any escape hunt shares? Because you are, Paddy, didn't you? Because I don't really know in the end. You've wound me up so long about it, I don't know who actually owns shares and who doesn't. Let me ask, Councillor Stephen, do you own escape hunt shares? Oh, I know you did, yes. What's just... Yeah. Well, not the first. I was before you, I think. Yeah. See? In fact, Steve, see, so what's the thing? What I like is this. When people are very, and obviously sometimes it doesn't play out, but when people are very sceptical about something because the share price is low and it's been low, look at the charts. I had someone on the YouTube video said the chart is horrendous. And I said, well, no, it's bumping on the bottom at the moment. It needs to tick up. And he said, I'm not looking at that until the chart goes up. And then, people arguing with me. All of a sudden, when it was 7.5 pence, all of a sudden, they're converted now at 13 pence. I said, well, listen, fella, it's pretty much, since my first video was 6.75 pence in the stock, it's doubled, and now you're showing more interest than you did when it was a lot cheaper. So it's done 100% pretty much, close to. And yet, well, no, you don't have to be into it. But what I'm saying is, I've had someone arguing with me now from, discussing it with me on YouTube, saying, is it a fad? I said, well, listen, I don't know if it's a fad, but I think it's just extra room in the market for an extra leisure activity. The people are spending more money. If you look at the figures, experiential spending is going up compared to just buying things, So that's a good market to be in. If you look at their figures specifically, they're growing very well, 55% up year on year pre-COVID. And in fact, even with the tier 2 and 3 lockdowns they had in Manchester and Liverpool, they were only 96% of turnover compared to last year. So even with the lockdowns in, they were doing. So the demand is there, completely there, as long as they can open up the stores. But so this guy was arguing, but I think it's a fad. I said, well, don't worry about what you think. Just look at the figures. It's like people on Twitter talk about their opinion of the vaccines and all that stuff, saying, well, the thing is, would you take that vaccine? I wouldn't. I think it's not for you. The problem we have is our economy is locked down because our hospitals are filling up with vulnerable people who are contracting COVID. And that's why we locked down the economy, to stop the infection to those people. Now, if we get a vaccine to vaccinate that strata of society, like NHS workers first of all, and then the people who are most vulnerable, above, I think the first band of people is above 85, and then it comes down every 5 years. And so we start, inoculating these people, they get vaccinated, then we can open the economy back up, because the majority of us won't be affected by it. We maybe get some symptoms. Some people won't even get any symptoms. So, people saying, these people on Twitter are 30 or 40 and they get no health condition, I wouldn't take it. You don't need to. I'm talking about opening back up the economy, and to do that, we have to protect the most vulnerable. And if this vaccine can do it, then we're back to normal. Full stop. They don't understand. It's not about whether you take it or not. It's not about that. And also, at the moment, on preliminary figures, 90% effectiveness, when all the FDA want is 50%, and flu vaccines are pretty much 40 to 60% effective. So it's way above flu vaccines efficacy. But generally, when we have safe and effective vaccines, let me just say, people, what about the safety of this? First and foremost, that's the biggest, and people talk about what's that thalidomide that happened in the 60s, 70s in America, all over the place. The reason why the FDA came to the standards they have today is because of thalidomide. They didn't commercially pass thalidomide in America. It didn't get to the market. It was independently tested and went to the market, but it wasn't passed by the FDA. And the FDA overhauled their entire system to make it more stringent and say you cannot now take drugs to the market without FDA clearance. So we've learned from things like that. But also, this is not like preventing, nausea and all that stuff. It's about using your own immune system, against yourself. It's like proteins and all that stuff. So it's not as... And first of all, look at Pfizer. 40,000 people were in the test day. 20,000 people have had the vaccine. There's not been one safety issue. So, obviously you can't tell... I did see... Yeah. It has been rushed. What I thought, the lady in charge of the medical board in the UK, I don't know if you saw her talking about the safety issues, and I thought, well, hang on, I know what we got at the preliminary data is showing there's no safety issues. Even AstraZeneca had one problem, that was with someone with underlying health condition anyway, but they've tested 60,000 people, something ridiculous. But I thought, well, hang on, you didn't actually know if it's completely safe, because we haven't got time. Like normally with clinical trials, it'll be done over years. So you have that years of time to tell who's reacting to it badly or not. Will you start growing a third head in year 2? We don't know that yet. But but she's saying, yeah, the second head is fine. That's within clinical guidelines. It's fine. Yeah, a third head. It's like, no, we can't have that. People are going to notice that third head. Safety, as it is yet, is not a problem. Again, as long as we protect that initial strata of the society that are most affected by it, so a lot more people probably had it than they know. Proliferating, yeah. But Paddy, you've still been tested. Yeah, I'm now to do that once a month. So you started off the government thing, a random thing with Oxford University. They test you once a week for like a month, and then they go once a month then. But we get letters through now. We didn't get that. You can tell they get more organised. And originally, we didn't get any information at all. Basically, they'd contact you if you were positive. But now, we get a nice headed letter from the ONS, and they've got boxes there, say a box with positive, negative, or unconclusive, what I think it was. And it's like a little bit of a game show, open them up. And yesterday they arrived, the 4 letters for me, Megan, Monty and Fred, and you open them up and go, and thank you for taking part, and the result is negative. Oh, did it. That's the way they should do the Scottish, COVID updates. And we've tested council, every resident council. We've all had committee tests now, COVID tests, right. Let's have a look what Pete's got. Ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Peter Hibbard is... negative! Yay! Right, Councilman Stephen Martin, positive, right, out! Stephen, out! Get out! Get home! Yeah, isolate him! Yeah, lovely that, but, yeah, there we are. But anyway, do you want to talk about, I'm refused, Councilman Peter has refused me to talk about individual stocks, but, all the stocks, we'll ask at the end. We'll do the minutes. Let me see. I want to say one thing controversial again. Do you hold any oil stocks? Now, I think they'll rally, but I don't think they're part of the bigger trend, longer trend. Now, if you're looking like 5-10 years down the line, or everyone's stepping away from oil, right? These days, if you notice, every company's changing them to energy rather than oil, right? They're doing everything they can to pretend they don't, all the big super players are moving away to alternatives and renewables. The biggest sovereign fund in the world, which is oddly the Norwegian pension fund, big investor in oil, because of course they've got oil fields there, North Sea as well. They've started now not investing in any company, and they put billions to work in anything related to oil. It's all got to be renewables, and like I say, Royal Dutch Shell, BP are trying to, pivot. So while I think oil will have a rally temporarily, because of course less exploration goes on, because less money's spent, because people are not in the cars as much, and all that stuff, they're not travelling around. I think we'll have a rally in oil because there'll be less supply, but generally that's a trend that's in a decline. If you look at an IEA report came out this week, almost 90% of new electricity generation in 2020 will be renewable, with just 10% powered by gas and coal. The trend puts green electricity on track to become the largest power source in 2025, displacing coal, which has dominated for 50 years. That is a trend that's not going to change. Renewables and green energy is a massive trend, and it doesn't include oil, of course. So you may have, I see people saying, take your positions in oil stocks. Yeah, you may have a rally, but it's not longer term. And I think, do you want to be in a trend that's going to be declining over the next 3 to 5 years? Because the market works ahead of that. You've also got massive hemorrhaging of money coming out. All the big funds like BlackRock, all those people are not putting money into oil anymore. So it's an industry. So when you say an oil stock is cheap, the reason why it's cheap is because there's lack of investment. It's like people don't want to touch it. There will be one, but the rally will happen when everyone's so bearish on oil, and that's when it happens. Because there's no more sellers left to sell. And then all of a sudden people reckon, hang on, we need oil. And we haven't got enough oil. We're still going to need oil for the next 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. Obviously, that's going to decline slowly. But even China, one of the biggest coal... China's got coal-fired power stations coming out every orifice. But and they're still building them, but they've even said they're going to be... Yeah, they've even said they want to be carbon neutral 2050. And I thought, what? Really? China's on a different scale completely to everywhere else around the world. So that is an ambitious target. But even them saying that means the amount of money come out of the coal and oil is phenomenal. So but I think you'll have a rally. I think oil will rally massively because what is it, $40? And like I said, if you're not digging it out of the ground, and at the moment demand isn't dropping off a cliff, so it's probably still going up a little bit from developed world. So you got the demand sort of creeping along nicely and supply going down. That's your basic economics, isn't it? I know. I do, and Yeah. I do like to top up. I did say at the start of the week, and this is true, and this is part of the things, I said, the next winner, ladies and gentlemen, is probably within your portfolio. It's probably there. I mean, sometimes, we're always looking for something new, shiny. Oh, it's a new thing. It's going to be a 50 backer, so that. But the trouble is, if you buy another stock, first of all, you're not as well researched generally on the new stock as you are on the stocks in your portfolio. And also, you are you're diversifying not only your portfolio but the return. So you've got to take on a bit of risk to get a good reward. So if you diversify more, then let's be honest, you're not going to get. You need at least 10%, 10% pretty much in a company with portfolio values to get a decent return. And if you're holding, but if you start diluting that down, the rewards will get less and less. So I think you're better off buying the dip in a stock you know and trust rather than searching for something else. So I've been doing that. 6 stocks I own. But yeah, at the moment. Yeah, but I am Councilman Paddy and Councilman Pete. I am at risk of talking about my own stocks. So So yeah, no, I have targets. I mean, listen, I think Polarean at the moment, Polarean, I look at valuations pretty much. Share prices obviously attached to that, of course. But I mean, I think I've seen companies, right, literally with no revenue on the COVID hype, valued way above Polarean, and they don't have any future. Some of these stocks, they've got like a 12-month window of opportunity, and I think, are you kidding? Polarean has got a 50-year opportunity pretty much, and even if they attract 1% of the MRI market, which is completely possible because it overhauls and brings MRI scanners for lungs up to 21st century tech, then these could be worth over $1 billion. And that's, I said that's just 1% of the entire market. That's all, and that's I think that's plausible. So I think it could be £1 billion company. I think it could if it goes right. Well, exactly. I can't top on here. I'm satisfied, right? I'm happy with drops. I'm looking 12 months out. I'm thinking on the 10th of November, I pretty much topped up the last one, but the top ups, and I'm going to sit there and say, right, 10th, I'm going to sit there next 10 years, not touch anything. We're all laughing. I know. But no, no. What I'm saying, I would love to think. Let me just try to see how long I can actually not buy or sell anything for, and see if that's the. I know. No. Let's see if I can, though, right? See how long. 10th of November is the last top I did. Yeah, exactly. They come in nicely. Well, I'm down now. I've done my 50 days of exercise, intense. I'm now down to 10 pull-ups. So I do 100 pull-ups a day and 100 press-ups a day and 5 minutes running in between each set of 10. And I've got to say, Pad, I am stretching. And in fact, you know what? I got a little bit stiff, which is odd. Considering I do the exercise every day, and I started really going down to the floor, pretty much on straight arms, the chin above the thing. I felt a bit stiff after the second day. So, yeah. So it's obviously, now it's affecting muscles. It didn't affect before with my more frenetic pull-up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, my arms have added a couple of meters. My knees are on the floor. But, in my head, I try and do it. I'm trying to say, do you know what? These 6 stocks, they may come along some shiny hussy. Hey, haven't been me, big boy. Hey, come on, invest. There may be a couple of those stocks that come along. But let's hold them for, a month, maybe 3 months, 6 months. See how long I can get this. Like when you start to exercise, I put a target of 50. No. I mean, but to get to... hang on, Councilman Peter. No. To get to a year... Order. Listen, order, please. To get to a year, with due respect, you have to go through a month, 2 months, 3 months. It's like exercising, isn't it? When I set out this target now of like 50 days, I did it, quite intense. Now, I'm going to carry on this now, so I can get to 100 days on this slightly less frenetic, 100 days. So you're going to break the first target first. So I've done pretty much a week with no trades. Last trade was on Monday, it'll be a week on Monday. And it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, just sit there, zero cost to Barclays, zero money to them, no cost to me. That's efficiency right there. So, and I believe in the stocks I have. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. I was thinking, what's the smallest penny stock I've got? Gfinity. I thought I can buy Gfinity at what? What's the price there? So last one was 3 pence. How much would I buy that? Yeah, but that's 7 quid. Yeah. Yeah. So 14 divided by 0.037, because it's with dealing costs, only about 14 quid there, and stamp duty. So that's 370. Yeah, 370 shares of Gfinity I buy. Measured by that, the biggest decimal point, the stock with the smallest denomination, and see how many shares I can get for 20 quid. Yeah, there we are. Oh no, I want to hold. I want to hold. I want to hold. Because, listen, just talk about stocks quickly. I do see multiples left in all the stocks I have, and on anyone's book, that's good return, and that's excellent return. So I'm happy to hold for a while in any of them. I see multiples in all of them, pretty much. So, there we are. So, do you know what I want to do? I'm just moving on quickly to the next part of the agenda here. Right, TV. Oh, Croydon. Right. Croydon's bust. Right, on the TV now. The centre of the world, Paddy reckons, has gone bust. What happened there, Pad? Okay, we'll just move on then. The next agenda, right? Oh, yeah, let's move on to the next agenda. It's a long story. Is it anyone's fault? Is it you think it's probably Conservatives' fault? Do you? I genuinely, I have no. I'm not partisan to any party. I don't care who the party is. I just think the party that can actually help, provide jobs, education, good health service, all that stuff. That's what I'm after. I don't care about, what Jeremy Corbyn just from trashing the economy. They're Marxist left, too lefty. Keir Starmer, if he can give some good policies on, it's very easy to look in hindsight, Dr. Hindsight there, and say, complain about the government. And Boris has he's messed up so many times. So, like I said, one of the things, I want them to lose Conservative next government, because just through Dominic Cummings, the lying and the standing behind him I think, do you know what? That says everything about you guys, right? It really does. You should just kick them out. And if you look at Dominic Cummings, he's a waif of a guy, scruffy as hell, wears what he wants. I think, how powerful is that guy, you know? I don't understand. He's a bit of a psychopath, a bit rude. And do you think so? Or do you think he just wants a bit of attention? I think he likes attention as well, man. So he's probably thinking, right, you know. Yeah, that's what that other guy did, didn't he? That Lee guy, he went through the back door the day before. You can go through the back door, but they can still get a picture of you somehow. Yeah. If you go through the back door, front door is fine. It's just a photo op. Yeah. But the missus, Boris's missus, got involved with that. I thought, really? But she's ex-PR, isn't she? So she's in that area. But yeah. So. Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. She communicated very well with Boris, didn't she? Must have at one point, you know, thinking, I like this girl. She's very good at communicating, to the point where they communicated in bed, you know, at one point. Yeah, that's you can't get closer communications than that. Yeah. So that's annoying. So as long as any, you know, government or party can deliver, you know, better expectations for the country than that, then it's fine. But Cummings, let's go away from party politics. I think we should go on to TV recommendations. I've got two. First one is a series of Explained. It's a bit. I was watching it at the start of the week, called "Whose Vote Counts? Can You Buy an Election?" And it's phenomenal. The American politics, the money. We've got caps in our country. In America, they haven't. You know, on what you can buy and adverts and all that stuff. And then that led me on to. And this explains why Trump isn't conceding. There's a documentary on there, a thing called Get Me Roger Stone. And Roger Stone is a really dirty trickster. And he's been around for years and years. He's been nagging Trump to get involved in politics for years and to run for president for years. And he's a really nasty... He's a guy like... a bit more of a flash guy, but Dominic Cummings, really. But dirty tricks all the time. That's all they do. And he started it pretty much. He was the guy behind it all. And he's good friends with that Alex Jones, the conspiracy theorist of InfoWars, the basically an insane guy. What I laugh at is many guys on Twitter follow Alex Jones and his conspiracy theories. He's banned from Twitter, by the way, Alex Jones, not the lady from... You know, the one show, not her. But he's a crazy loony shouting conspiracies. He shouts on his TV show every night. And Roger Stone is on that every night, pretty much. They're good friends, right? But people believe Alex Jones and his conspiracy theory, the way... And he always says, mainstream media are rubbish. They're talking nonsense. They're all full of conspiracy. But you're believing the biggest conspiracy theorists of all. And I think, well, you are brainwashed, not by the mainstream media. It's the same thing. Different person, same thing. You are brainwashed by Alex Jones rather than mainstream media. What's the difference? You know? I know. Yeah, I know. It's biased. I know. It's exactly the same, different mouthpiece. And do you know what? But Roger Stone is worth looking at this because he got Trump to be the first, he persuaded Trump to run first time around. But there was halfway through, you realised in the Bush, who was it? He was behind Bush as well. Bush and Gore, I think it was, the election of Bush and Gore. And there was a recount in Florida, right, of the votes. And, of course, he was backing Bush. And he got really nasty, Roger Stone, saying, I get all the people down from the Bush, get down to the counting house, start banging the doors and windows. And literally, they were banging the doors and windows of this recount in Florida to the point where the people recounting got so intimidated, they stopped the recount. Bush won Florida. And he won the election. And you think, hang on a sec, that's what they're doing now, pretty much. They're trying to intimidate everyone. It's the same playbook that Roger Stone is playing from. So even though he's not officially involved now, he was sort of stacked, but he is. He's close friends with Trump. It's still going on. That's why not concede, because they want to... But I think it's gone too far now, to the point where they can't intimidate any longer. And I think Homeland Security, everyone is saying nothing's been rigged. There's no fraud. Biden will be in. And I'd be interested to see, like you said, Steve, whether Trump actually turns up to the inauguration, handing over. I don't think he will. Will he? Will he turn up? I'd be surprised. Yeah, I know. But anyway, that's my recommendation. Get Me Roger Stone. That's my recommendation. Now, you mentioned something else, Pete. What was that? I've not seen this. My language, Councilman Peter. Language. Oh, different spelling. Lovely. Where's it set? Is it set in Australia or America? Oh, okay. And what's it? What? Well, I was just thinking. I was asking recently how are ITV making money anymore? I don't understand that. It's just a question their model, because no one watches terrestrial adverts or any of that stuff, and I don't know how they make money anymore. And Councillor says swearing, please. I've asked in the chamber now twice. ITV, where is it then? Oh yeah, ITV Studios, global distributor they are. Do they make it or not? So obviously it's not made. Oh, okay, because that's the way forward, isn't it, really? And you get people like Netflix buying it off them. Okay, I'll do that. All right. Anything else, boys? Are we calling this council committee meeting to an end? Lovely. Speaking next week.
The Weekend Podcast on Vox Markets with Justin, Peter and Steve. Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy anything based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.